He was just a normal police cop, but one day he was forced by the most feared drug lord to infiltrate in the war of mafia, as his wife was harmed by them brutally. His reputation of naive and gentle police officer was tarnished after witnessing the way he played with skulls of mafia group. Welcome back to Paramount Recaps. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The worst of evil began with a fight between two gangs. Suddenly, Seung-ho, a gangster, arrived and saw his wife with a gangster from the rival gang. Shocked, he grabbed a knife from the floor and attacked the man. 2 years earlier, in 1994, Seung-ho, whose real name was Park Jun-mo, was a police officer. His wife, Yoo Yui-jeong, was also a police officer but held a higher rank in the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency, while Jun-mo was a senior patrol officer from a countryside station. During a family dinner, Yui-jeong's family insulted Jun-mo because of his lower rank and his father's history as a drug addict. Frustrated, Yui-jeong defended her husband and took him to another room. There, Jun-mo asked about a necklace she always wore, and Yui-jeong explained that it was a gift from her church during high school. In Gangnam, a fight broke out on a nightclub dance floor, and the DJ, Young Gi-chul, intervened by changing the music. Impressed by his quick thinking, a crime boss named Sergeant Jang offered Gi-chul a job managing the Gangnam territory and the nightclub. Initially skeptical, Gi-chul accepted the offer after learning more about it, promising to bring his friends along. A year later, Gi-chul officially became the nightclub manager. One night, his friend asked him to handle troublesome visitors. However, Gi-chul found himself powerless because the visitors came from wealthy families. Frustrated, he suggested to Sergeant Jang that they sell drugs to make more money. Angered by the suggestion, Sergeant Jang slapped Gi-chul and emphasized his loyalty to Song Dong-hyuk, a respected Busan gang leader. Later, Gi-chul shared his frustrations with his friends, who revealed how poorly Sergeant Jang treated them. Motivated, Gi-chul planned to kill Sergeant Jang and take over the Gangnam territory, intending to sell drugs for faster profit. He successfully sold drugs to a nightclub visitor and recruited a gangster named Jong Ryle to join the revolt. The next day, Gi-chul and his friends attacked Sergeant Jang and his subordinates at a hotel. Despite initial success, one of Jang's men managed to raise the alarm. Jang and his remaining subordinates fought back, but Gi-chul and his friends, armed, gained the upper hand. Jang attempted to flee, but was eventually captured. During the struggle, Jang killed Gi-chul's best friend, Tae-ho, by stabbing him. Enraged, Gi-chul avenged Tae-ho by repeatedly stabbing Jang, killing him. After the attack, Gi-chul visited Song Dong-hyuk in Busan, demanding control of 2 territories in exchange for killing Sergeant Jang. Dong-hyuk initially ignored him, but agreed after Gi-chul promised 50 million won monthly. Gi-chul then visited Professor Yoon, an elderly woman who asked if he was from the prosecutor's office. Gi-chul clarified that he was the one who had sent the China travel guide. One night, a woman committed suicide at a nightclub. The police discovered she was a drug addict and suspected the Gangnam Union, a Korean gang, of supplying the drugs. To gather evidence, Chief Prosecutor Captain Cho decided to send Jun-mo on an undercover mission, based on a recommendation from Chief Detective Do Hyung, who praised Jun-mo's martial arts skills. Do Hyung approached Jun-mo, asking him to infiltrate the Gangnam Union. He explained that Korea and China might be involved in the illegal drug trade, and capturing the Gangnam Union could lead to the Japanese gang. Jun-mo initially refused, not wanting to become a criminal even to catch other criminals. However, Do Hyung urged him to consider his father and the nationwide impact of the drug trade if they failed to act. When Jun-mo returned to his office, Captain Cho came to talk to him. Captain Cho tried to persuade Jun-mo to go undercover and infiltrate the Gangnam Union. He promised Jun-mo a promotion and bonuses if he completed the mission successfully. After thinking it over, Jun-mo agreed, hoping to earn the respect of his wife's family, who often looked down on him because of his low rank. The next day, Do Hyung took Jun-mo to meet Captain Cho. Jun-mo negotiated the terms of the deal, asking to rise through 2 ranks if he succeeded, arguing that the mission's success depended on him. Captain Cho agreed and began planning the undercover mission. Jun-mo would pose as Tae-ho's cousin. Tae-ho was Gi-chul's best friend who had died recently. Captain Cho explained that a high-purity drug called Gangnam crystal had been found in Gangnam. Young Gi-chul took over the Gangnam Union after Sergeant Jang's death and controlled the territory. Gi-chul and his friends, who were Yoksum High School graduates, now ran all the nightclubs in Gangnam and were suspected of being involved in the drug trade. Jun-mo's new identity would be Seung-ho, a former fisherman. The police would help him settle into his new life and manage his real-life affairs. To keep his mission secret, Jun-mo told his co-workers he was taking a break due to illness. In the evening, Jun-mo, now Seung-ho, went to a restaurant controlled by the Gangnam Union. He asked a waiter about Gi-chul, but was instead confronted by two gangsters. After a fight, in which Seung-ho managed to defeat the gangsters, Gi-chul and his subordinates arrived. Gi-chul recognized the watch Seung-ho was wearing as Taeho's and listened as Seung-ho claimed to be Taeho's cousin. Though surprised, Gi-chul and his friends were skeptical, as Taeho never mentioned having a cousin. Seung-ho explained he was seeking Taeho's killer. Gi-chul, also searching for the murderer, gave Seung-ho his business card before Seung-ho left. The next day, Gi-chul and a friend visited Taeho's father, who confirmed Seung-ho's story. He said Seung-ho had just returned to Seoul after working as a fisherman and used to stay with Taeho every summer. Taeho's father, contacted by the police, agreed to cooperate and tell the same story the police had created. Seung-ho then visited the Gangnam Union's headquarters. Initially stopped by gangsters, he was allowed in when Gi-chul saw him. Gi-chul gave him money and told him not to return. Seung-ho refused the money, insisting he wanted revenge for Taeho's death. After another fight, in which Seung-ho defeated the gangsters, Gi-chul realized Seung-ho wasn't after money. Seung-ho explained that Taeho's watch was given to him by his uncle, symbolizing that Taeho would always be with him. Before leaving, Seung-ho vowed to avenge his cousin's death. Meanwhile, a Gangnam Union gangster named Hee-sung delivered the promised 50 million won to Dong Hyuk, Gi-chul's superior. He then met Han-do, Sergeant Jang's former right-hand man. At the harbor, Hee-sung, frustrated with Gi-chul's treatment, proposed they work together to overthrow him. Han-do, seeing an opportunity to reclaim control of the Gangnam Union, agreed. Han-do visited Dong Hyuk in Busan, asking for permission to take back the territory from Gi-chul. Dong Hyuk refused, citing his agreement with Gi-chul and a warning from his brother in Japan. Han-do then offered to pay twice what Gi-chul was paying. Later, Hee-sung and his friends took Han-do to a location for a party, planning to place guns near the stage for later use. This set the stage for a complex struggle for power within the Gangnam Union. In another place, Seung-ho received a call from Gi-chul, who asked him to meet at a location visited earlier by Han-do and Hee-sung. When Seung-ho arrived, Gi-chul revealed they were planning a party there and invited Seung-ho to join the Gangnam Union. Suddenly, Han-do and his subordinates arrived, but they couldn't find the guns Hee-sung had mentioned. It turned out Hee-sung had set a trap for Han-do and his men. A fight broke out between Han-do's subordinates and Seung-ho. Soon, Gi-chul's men joined in to help Seung-ho. They managed to defeat Han-do and his subordinate. Gi-chul confronted Han-do, warning him never to show his face again. When Han-do refused, Gi-chul ordered his men to torture him. Gi-chul then called Dong Hyuk, angrily accusing him of allowing Han-do to attack and threatening to stop the payments to him. Enraged, Dong Hyuk vowed to kill Gi-chul. Gi-chul then took Seung-ho outside the building and explained his plan to build a cafe in Taeho's memory, as it was Taeho's dream. He asked Seung-ho for help and revealed he had killed Taeho's murderer. The next day, the Gangnam Union officially welcomed Seung-ho. During his introduction, Hee-sung slapped Seung-ho, a Gangnam Union tradition symbolizing the end of any grudges. Hee-sung also instructed the gang to treat Seung-ho well. Seung-ho was tasked with patrolling two territories. Under Gi-chul's leadership, Gangnam Union members managed various businesses, using the profits to fund their operation. Meanwhile, Yui-jeong, Jun-mo's wife, grew worried because she hadn't heard from him in a long time. Surprised by the news from Jun-mo's office that he was on a sick leave, she called him and arranged to meet. At dinner, Jun-mo revealed his undercover mission to infiltrate the Gangnam Union and investigate the illegal drug trade. During their conversation, Gi-chul and his friends entered the restaurant. Yui-jeong was surprised to see Gi-chul, her high school first love. Jun-mo quickly explained that Yui-jeong was an old school friend and introduced Gi-chul as the president of his company. Gi-chul then asked Seung-ho to accompany him somewhere. Upon arrival, Gi-chul's friends beat Seung-ho up, accusing him of meeting with a police officer like Yui-jeong. Seung-ho explained that Yui-jeong had called him for help with her father's drug problem. On their way back to headquarters, Gi-chul noticed Seung-ho's necklace. which resembled one his wife wore. Gi-chul revealed that Yoo Jeong was his first love, causing Seung-ho to feel jealous and suspicious. Later, Seung-ho called his wife, who confirmed her past relationship with Gi-chul. Yoo Jeong then confronted Captain Cho about sending her husband on a dangerous mission. Captain Cho urged her to cooperate with the investigation to help Jun-mo return to his real life. Elsewhere, a private investigator named Jin Ping provided Gi-chul with information about Jun-mo and Yoo Jeong. Gi-chul questioned Seung-ho about knowing a man named Park Jun-mo, making Seung-ho nervous. However, the police had prepared for this by creating a false identity for Jun-mo, so Gi-chul didn't discover the truth. Jun-mo, Dong Hayek, and Captain Cho then met to discuss a plan to attack Gi-chul and his gang. That evening, disguised police officers attacked the Gangnam Union's headquarters. Gi-chul, terrified, saw Seung-ho fighting off the attackers. Impressed, Gi-chul took Seung-ho to a clinic for his injuries and asked him to become his personal bodyguard. Despite his friend's objections, Seung-ho informed Dong Hayek that their plan had worked well. The next day, Seung-ho began his duties as Gi-chul's bodyguard. They visited a hospital where Yoo Jeong's mother was staying. Gi-chul invited Seung-ho to visit her, but Seung-ho declined, fearing his true identity might be revealed. Alone, Gi-chul visited Yoo Jeong's mother, who knew about his gangster activities and urged him to quit. Gi-chul said he was just an associate. During their talk, Gi-chul got a call from Kanemoto, an elderly Yakuza leader from Japan. Gi-chul saw Kanemoto as a father figure. Kanemoto told Gi-chul that Dong Hayek planned to kill him. Gi-chul then asked Kanemoto to execute the plan. Kanemoto ordered his men to kill Dong Hayek, despite their years of partnership, because Gi-chul had been giving him money regularly. Meanwhile, Gi-chul and his friends were heading somewhere. After they left, Seung-ho asked a gangster named Kyung-jin where they were going. Kyung-jin said they went fishing once a month. Once everyone left the Gangnam Union headquarters, Seung-ho searched for evidence. He discovered Gi-chul used Yoo Jeong's birthday as the lock password. Seung-ho then met Do Hyung and Captain Cho to report his finding, noting the lack of fishing gear despite the monthly trips. Elsewhere, a courier was delivering Gangnam Crystal when rival drug dealers approached him. Their leader, Manager Cho, threatened the courier, who revealed he got the package from Young Gi-chul. The rivals then met Young B, who pretended to be Young Gi-chul. They took him with them, but were ambushed by a car driven by a woman, a trap set by Gi-chul and his friend. They captured Manager Cho and tortured him. Gi-chul pressured Seung-ho to kill Cho. Seung-ho missed his first shot, and Jong Ryle finished the job. Back at headquarters, Young B and Hee-sung were suspicious of Seung-ho because he knew Yoo Jeong. Gi-chul assured them Seung-ho's father was a drug addict, so he wasn't a spy. Later, Young B told Seung-ho he wasn't one of them, hinting at mistrust. Captain Cho asked Yoo Jeong to help with the investigation again since she knew Gi-chul well. She agreed and arranged to meet Gi-chul for a drink. The next day, Seung-ho drove Gi-chul to meet his wife. Do Hyung informed Seung-ho that Yoo Jeong joined the investigation to keep Seung-ho safe. Seung-ho was upset but helpless. Yoo Jeong flirted with Gi-chul, gave him an old picture, and asked him to take care of Seung-ho, who was often sick as a child. Gi-chul, Yoo Jeong, and Seung-ho went to a meeting. Gi-chul asked Yoo Jeong if her husband visited her mother in the hospital, hinting at his suspicion since a nurse mistook him for her husband. Yoo Jeong lied about being divorced to see Gi-chul more often as part of the investigation. At the Gangnam Union headquarters, Gi-chul told Seung-ho not to mention meeting Yoo Jeong and said he would see her more often. Seung-ho felt jealous but stayed silent. The next morning, Gi-chul told Seung-ho to get ready as Yoo Jeong's mother had passed away. At the funeral home, Seung-ho suggested Gi-chul see Yoo Jeong alone to comfort her. Yoo Jeong introduced Gi-chul to her father as a high school friend. She asked how Gi-chul knew about her mother's death, and he said a police officer informed him. Seung-ho's nephew called him uncle at the funeral, causing panic. Do Hyung quickly took the boy away, preventing Seung-ho's identity from being revealed. Gi-chul recognized Do Hyung as Yoo Jeong's husband. Gi-chul confronted Do Hyung for not visiting his mother-in-law in the hospital, saying he didn't deserve to be at the funeral. Yoo Jeong stopped the argument. Seung-ho pretended to go to the restroom, but returned to pay his respects to his mother-in-law. Captain Cho and Do Hyung stopped him, fearing Gi-chul might see. Seung-ho paid his respects in the hallway, recalling moments with his mother-in-law. Back at headquarters, Gi-chul asked Seung-ho about his mother. Seung-ho said she was happy now, and he never hated her for leaving him. Gi-chul then began to share his own story. He said his mother killed his father because his father was violent and abusive. He wasn't mad at his mother because he believed his father deserved it. Seung-ho admitted he joined the Gangnam Union initially to avenge his cousin Taeho's death, but now he wanted to become rich like Gi-chul. Gi-chul promised to help him achieve his dream if Seung-ho helped him get closer to Yoo-jeong. Though Seung-ho was angry, he agreed. He then invited Gi-chul to go fishing since he hadn't seen the sea in a long time. Seung-ho called his wife to apologize for not being there for her and her mother when they needed him. He regretted not spending more time with his mother-in-law. He knew an apology wasn't enough, but it was all he could offer now. The next day, Kang Jin, a member of Dong Hyuk's Busan gang, survived an assassination by Kane Moto and his men. That afternoon, he took money from a safe and gave it to Kai Su, the Yijin gang leader, asking for help to take revenge on Gi-chul. At the Gangnam Union's headquarters, Hee-sung told Gi-chul he couldn't go fishing because his wife was in labor. Lacking a member, Gi-chul considered inviting Seung-ho, but Young-bi disagreed because Seung-ho was new. Gi-chul insisted, so they left together, with Young-bi following in another car. On the way, Gi-chul received a call from Young-bi about a flat tire, delaying him. Suddenly, Kang-jin and Yijin gang members attacked Seung-ho and Gi-chul. Their car got stuck, so they fought back. Seung-ho shot a gangster trying to kill Gi-chul. They got out and fought the gangsters. Nearby, Jong Ryle watched, but didn't help because Yijin gang had asked him to betray Gi-chul earlier. As Seung-ho was about to shoot more gangsters, one hit him with an iron rod. Finally, Jong Ryle intervened, helping Gi-chul and Seung-ho defeat the gangsters. They rushed Seung-ho to the hospital, and though he was in critical condition, he survived. The next day, Gi-chul's Chinese business partner complained about not receiving their order. Gi-chul asked Jong Ryle to find the rat in their organization. Trusting him the most, Jong Ryle checked if Young-bi's flat tire story and Hee-sung's wife in labor were true, which they were. At the hospital, Seung-ho woke up, relieving Gi-chul. Gi-chul said he trusted Seung-ho now. Meanwhile, Yoo-jeong was angry with Captain Cho for putting Seung-ho in danger, but continued to help with the investigation for Seung-ho's sake. In Japan, Kanemoto was angry about the delayed order. Jong Ryle told Gi-chul he hadn't found the traitor yet. Gi-chul called a meeting with all Gangnam Union members, including the still recovering Seung-ho. He promised Kanemoto he'd handle the problem. Kanemoto, realizing he was being watched, ordered his subordinates to capture the spies. On the way to the headquarters, the ambulance driver and his friend went to the toilet, leaving Seung-ho alone. Du Hyang entered the ambulance to talk to Seung-ho. Seung-ho recounted the attack and Gi-chul's plan to find the traitor, asking Du Hyang to protect the traitor from Gi-chul. That night, Gi-chul received a call from his Chinese partner, arranging a pickup in 2 days. He then gathered all members, asking them to respect Seung-ho for saving him. Noticing one member missing, he suspected the traitor and ordered Jong Ryle to capture Kyung-jin, who was trying to flee. Jong Ryle stopped him, and the members beat Kyung-jin. Gi-chul asked Jong Ryle to kill him, but Seung-ho intervened, attacking Kyung-jin with a bat to keep him alive. Gi-chul then had a small meeting with Seung-ho and Jong Ryle about their Chinese partner's arrival. Captain Cho, discovering Professor Yoon's continued involvement in the drug trade, contacted Chinese police for collaboration. Meanwhile, Yoo-jeong asked Gi-chul to meet her. Gi-chul canceled his meeting with the Chinese gang, sending Hee-sung and Young-bi instead. Seung-ho and Jong Ryle warned him not to trust them, suspecting another traitor. Gi-chul decided to send Seung-ho and ordered Jong Ryle to investigate Hee-sung and Young-bi. Jong Ryle, disguised as a police officer, questioned Kang-jin about how he knew Gi-chul's route. Kang-jin confirmed he followed Gi-chul rather than receiving inside information. After Jong Ryle saw the situation, he killed the man by smothering him with a pillow. Then, he called Gi-chul to inform him that Young-bi and Hee-seung weren't the traitors. Gi-chul felt relieved because he considered them like brothers. Seung-ho went home secretly to see his wife. He apologized and mentioned that Gi-chul was starting to trust him. Yoo-jeong said she didn't want to talk about his work. She just wanted to focus on their family. The next day, Seung-ho went to the airport to pick up the Chinese gang. The leader, Hee-ryeon, arrived with her subordinate, Kang-san. Meanwhile, Yoo-jeong and Gi-chul visited the local church they used to go to in high school. In the car, Hee-ryeon took off her sunglasses and wig, revealing she had entered South Korea using a fake passport. After Seung-ho took her to the hotel, he went to a car to talk to Du Hyang. He got angry when he learned that Yoo-jeong was with Gi-chul, but Du Hyang said Yoo-jeong initiated the meeting. Back at the hotel, Seung-ho ran into one of Kanemoto's men and dropped his case. After Yoo-jeong and Gi-chul visited the church, They went to a restaurant for lunch. Gi-chul gave Yui Jiang a sketch before heading to the hotel to meet Hee-ryeon. In their meeting, Gi-chul tried to apologize to the Chinese gang with money, but Hee-ryeon refused, saying it wasn't enough to compensate for their losses. Gi-chul promised it wouldn't happen again. Hee-ryeon mentioned that the Japanese gang must have a great network since they contacted her father to arrange the meeting. Gi-chul then offered to increase their drug shipment from 8 kilograms to 10 kilograms. Hee-ryeon realized Gi-chul was afraid of losing their business. Gi-chul then received a call from Oyama, Kanemoto's right-hand man, asking to meet the next day at 2 p.m. Gi-chul got more stressed, knowing the Japanese gang was in South Korea. That night, Seung-ho informed Captain Cho and Do Hyang that the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean gangs involved in the drug trade were meeting. Seung-ho suspected they would discuss the recent attack on him and Gi-chul that had interrupted their business. Do Hyang gave Seung-ho a listening device for the meeting and said they would monitor the hotel's security cameras. Two subordinates of manager Cho, who the Gangnam Union had killed, reported to the police that he was abducted by gangsters from Yoksum High School. In his room, Gi-chul received another call from Oyama, asking to meet at the hotel that afternoon. Gi-chul asked Seung-ho to go with him and told the others to wait outside. Young-bi felt jealous since Gi-chul preferred Seung-ho's company. Before they left, Detective Min-gu approached their car, asking about a drug dealer named Yankees. Gi-chul denied knowing him, but Min-gu believed the Gangnam Union was involved in illegal drug trade and manager Cho's murder. On the way to the hotel, Min-gu secretly followed them. At the hotel, Do Hyang and his team were ready. With one member disguised as an employee, Gi-chul and Seung-ho arrived, and Do Hyang warned his team to be cautious and act only when they had evidence. Shortly after, Min-gu arrived, surprising Young-bi, Jong Ryul, and Hee-seung, who hated him for interfering with their gang. Before entering the meeting room, the Japanese gang searched Hee-ryeon and her subordinate for weapons. After finding none, they allowed them to enter. Seung-ho and Gi-chul were also searched. Seung-ho panicked, fearing they would find the listening device. Do Hyang saw this on camera and quickly set off the fire alarm. Seung-ho used the distraction to hide the device in his cigarette pack instead of discarding it. After the search, Gi-chul and Seung-ho entered the meeting room. The Japanese gang played music to prevent anyone from eavesdropping. Oyama asked Hee-ryeon about Professor Yoon. Hee-ryeon assured him the Chinese gang treated her well. Gi-chul returned the down payment from the Japanese gang, promising to send their order soon. Oyama then asked Gi-chul to wait outside, worried about police surveillance. Outside, Gi-chul and Seung-ho waited, and Oyama conducted business with the Chinese gang inside. Oyama had Hee-ryeon speak with Kanemoto on the phone. Kanemoto explained he made Gi-chul rich to keep him out of the drug business, making it harder for the police to link him to the trade. He asked the Chinese gang to send the same drugs as before, offering to pay 15% more than Gi-chul did. After waiting outside for 5 minutes, Gi-chul and Seung-ho returned to the meeting room. Min-gu followed them, and Seung-ho warned Gi-chul about the police presence. As they were leaving the meeting, Seung-ho blocked Min-gu in the hallway, leading to a fight. Do Hyang saw this on camera and ordered his team to capture Min-gu. After the scuffle, Seung-ho rejoined Gi-chul. After fighting with Min-gu, Seung-ho's back started bleeding again because his wound from the previous incident hadn't healed yet. Gi-chul was worried and decided they would leave once it was safe. Seung-ho warned that the police would keep chasing them, especially since Hee-ryeon used a fake passport to enter South Korea. Hee-ryeon, understanding Seung-ho's concern for her, asked her subordinate to treat his wound. In the room, Hee-ryeon shared that a Japanese gang suggested partnering with another Korean gang because they didn't trust Gi-chul anymore. She hadn't told them yet as it was difficult to switch partners. Gi-chul offered to pay double for the drugs, but Hee-ryeon said it was about trust, not money. She then asked Seung-ho why he risked his life for Gi-chul, and Seung-ho replied that he trusted him. Since Hee-ryeon was staying in South Korea for a bit, she planned to visit some places and asked Seung-ho to be her guide. Soon, Gi-chul got a call from Oyama, who said Kanemoto was pausing their business because the police were after them. Kanemoto was also angry at Gi-chul for not noticing a police tail. Gi-chul and Do Hyang were disappointed because this meant the police couldn't capture the gang soon. In the evening, Min-gu went to the Gangnam Union's headquarters looking for Gi-chul. Not finding him, he attacked Gi-chul's men and trashed the place. Elsewhere, Gi-chul learned of the attack from his subordinates. Seung-ho suggested surrendering to the police to resolve the issue, but Gi-chul refused, not wanting him to go to jail. Seung-ho insisted, saying it would help the Gangnam Union return to normal operations and continue business with the Chinese and Japanese gangs. Seung-ho then went to the police and turned himself in. At the police station, Min-gu questioned him about the meeting where Gi-chul was involved in an illegal drug deal. Seung-ho claimed it was a legitimate investment meeting for the Gangnam Union. Min-gu didn't believe him and beat him up. Seung-ho endured the beating, having a plan in mind. When Min-gu left the room, Seung-ho smiled crazily. Min-gu returned, demanding the truth again, and just before beating him again, Captain Cho arrived. The police chief apologized to Captain Cho for Min-gu's actions. Captain Cho warned that Min-gu could be fired for his violent methods and that Seung-ho could sue him. Thanks to Captain Cho, Seung-ho was allowed to leave. Outside, Jong Ryle picked him up. On the way back to the headquarters, Seung-ho mentioned that the police made him sign a paper agreeing not to sue Min-gu. Jong Ryle then asked about the meeting with the Chinese gang. Seung-ho explained it was about their illegal drug trade and suggested Jong Ryle should be included in future meetings. They reached the headquarters and joined Gi-chul and others for a drink. Young-bi asked why the police released Seung-ho so easily, suspecting Yui Jiang's involvement. He also found Captain Cho's sudden appearance strange. Gi-chul dismissed the topic and told Young-bi to check their financial report. Seung-ho then suggested Gi-chul talk to the Chinese gang, as Hee-ryeon seemed to like him. Gi-chul, however, was angry and disappointed with the Chinese and Japanese gangs for looking down on him despite him making money for them. Jong Ryle saw this as a chance to gain Gi-chul's trust and offered to talk to the gang. Seung-ho then met with Du Haing and Captain Cho, informing them about the meeting. Captain Cho asked Seung-ho to convince the Chinese gang to trust the Gangnam Union again, so the police could arrest them during a transaction. Seung-ho agreed and asked Captain Cho and Du Haing to deal with Young-bi, who was becoming suspicious of him. The next day, Seung-ho called Hee-ryeon for a meeting. Kang-san searched Seung-ho's car for safety before letting them go. Seung-ho and Hee-ryeon visited a place she had wanted to see for a long time. Later, at dinner, Hee-ryeon asked why Seung-ho was so loyal to Gi-chul. Seung-ho replied that he admired Gi-chul and wanted to be rich and successful like him. Hee-ryeon called her bodyguard into the room and showed him something she had bought earlier. She put it into a glass of water, explaining that if it sank, it was bad, but if it bubbled, it was good. She revealed that Gi-chul had been secretly selling the item in South Korea instead of sending it to Japan as he was supposed to. Hee-ryeon asked how she could continue trading with someone she couldn't trust. Seung-ho tried to persuade her to trust him instead of Gi-chul, promising to send the item to Japan himself. He assured her he wouldn't betray Gi-chul, planning to tell him about his involvement in the illegal trade because he believed Gi-chul would agree since it would bring in money. Hee-ryeon considered this offer, knowing it would allow her to spend more time with Seung-ho. Afterward, Seung-ho called Du Haing to inform him about his meeting with Hee-ryeon. He explained that Gi-chul's dishonesty had caused Hee-ryeon to lose trust in him. Seung-ho also asked Du Haing to set a trap for Young-bi at T-Ho Rock Cafe. That evening, Du Haing's team raided the cafe and brought Young-bi to the police station. During interrogation, Young-bi denied involvement in the drug trade. The police left him alone to think. They later found a drug distributor and an actor named Hyung-jin at the cafe, who both claimed Young-bi had reported them to the police. This was a setup to trap Young-bi, and the police released him as a witness. Returning to the Gangnam Union headquarters, Gi-chul questioned Young-bi about his police statements. Young-bi denied saying anything. Suddenly, Hyung-jin attacked Young-bi for reporting him. Gi-chul stopped the fight and asked everyone to leave except Young-bi. Alone, Gi-chul confronted Young-bi about stealing from the organization and selling drugs without permission. Young-bi defended his actions, saying he wanted to maintain their business. Gi-chul demanded the stolen drugs back, but Young-bi shifted the blame to Seung-ho, claiming Gi-chul had changed since meeting him. Enraged, Gi-chul told Young-bi to leave and never return. Despite their long friendship, Jong Ryle asked Seung-ho to talk to Gi-chul while he dealt with Young-bi. Seung-ho discussed continuing trade with a Chinese gang. Receiving a call from Hee-ryeon during the conversation, she wanted to meet. Seung-ho told Gi-chul he had a plan to regain Hee-ryeon's trust and would do whatever it took. Meanwhile, in the elevator, Young-bi attacked Jong Ryle, who fought back and ultimately killed him. The next day, Gi-chul asked Yui Jiang to join him at church. where his mother was praying for Yui Jiang's mother. A friend remarked that Yui Jiang hadn't changed since elementary school, making Gi-chul realize Seung-ho didn't attend the same school. To investigate, he called his detective friend Jin Pyong, asking him to check Seung-ho's background. Captain Cho learned Jin Pyong had visited the police station for information on Yui Jiang's husband. After being denied, Jin Pyong found what he needed at the Association of Retired Police Officers. Just as he was about to call Gi-chul, Seung-ho confronted him, asking for the document about Yui Jiang's husband. Jin Pyong refused, revealing he knew Seung-ho was actually Jun Mo, Yui Jiang's husband. Jin Pyong attacked Seung-ho and tried to escape, but slipped and fell while jumping between buildings. Seung-ho, shocked, took the document from Jin Pyong's body. Elsewhere, Gi-chul grew anxious, waiting for Jin Pyong's call. When he tried calling Jin Pyong, Seung-ho rejected the call and turned off the phone. Gi-chul, with Yui Jiang, watched as she got up to leave. Meanwhile, Seung-ho walked away with the document he took from Jin Pyong. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below with your suggestions for future videos, any questions you have, or just to say hi. Your feedback is super important to us and helps us create better content for you. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and on social media. It really makes a big difference and helps our community grow. You can follow us on Insert your social media handles for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.